There are many stories out there that talk about the importance of friendship or love, going through both the ups and downs and simply bringing out the best in each other. But when it comes to video games, this subject is often reserved for visual novels. Haven, however, has taken this concept to a whole new level and it's got you thinking, can love truly conquer all? Haven is the latest game from the game bakers, and these are the same people that released the stylish action game Fury back in 2016. You can see some similarities in the art style, but at their core these games are nothing alike. At the start, the game even mentions that this is not a challenging game, and I think it's really ballsy that an indie studio like them chose to follow their passion and not continue building on something they knew was successful. Whether this paid off? Let's find out. Now, before we jump into the details, I want to emphasize that this game is driven by its story and that many gameplay features are actually connected to it. I will do my best to give you all the information you need with
no spoilers.
Yes, no spoilers. Everything in this review is connected, however, so I do advise to fully watch it. But if you are in a rush and need very specific information, I have added timestamps too. Now, without further ado, let's jump into it. Alright, so the story starts with Yu and Kai. These are two lovers that have given up everything in their regular lives to escape to a lost planet just so that they can be together. The ship they use to escape is called the Nest and is actually their home on this planet. This is the place where they return after exploring, and while it's okay to live in it, it's not really in a state to take off and start flying again. So in order to repair the ship, they will need to explore the planet and find materials and salvageable parts. This is the main goal you will be working towards in this game. Seeing as this game drops you both in the story and the ongoing relationship, you are left to wonder things like, why did they escape to this planet? How did they get access to a ship? Heck, how did Yu and Kai even meet? Well, that's the beauty of this game. As the characters progress their relationship and get to know each other even better, you get to know both of them and their backstory too. They, or the game, don't really explain what happened and there's no narrator to fill any information gaps. But you know, it's not even needed. Simply by being observant to the conversations they have, you can pick out little pieces of the puzzle, and in time you can put all the pieces together to know the full backstory. It's a way of storytelling that is pretty hard to pull off in an engaging way, but I think they did this very well. So aside from the story and conversation, what do you actually do in this game? Well, once the day starts, you get ready to head out into the field and find those ship parts. You can cook food to reset your hunger meter, create medicine to heal yourself, create combat items to aid you in battle, take a shower for the cute and funny dialogue, have a little chat on the couch to learn more about the story, and then it's time to pack your bags and head out. Once you are outside, you will notice that instead of walking or running, Yu and Kay will actually glide around the area, which makes exploring a lot faster and a lot more fun. Occasionally you will see these blue lines and you can follow these to both charge your energy meters and access hard to reach places. The planet is divided by areas called islets and you can enter a new one simply by crossing the blue glowing bridges. Now, most areas will be covered in red and purple goo, and by gliding over this you can clear this out. This goo also infected the wildlife, and in order to free them from this corruption, you engage in a battle, after which you will use Pacify to cure them. Once pacified, you can actually interact with some of them by giving them well-deserved scratches.
I could stay here scratching him for hours.
Oh, we have been doing this for hours.
Once it gets dark, Yu and Kai will become hungry and it's time to head back to the ship or find a nearby camp to spend the night. After that, it's rinse and repeat. You enter combat with an infected creature by walking into it. If you approach it from the front, you and Kai and the enemy will be able to attack from the start. If you approach the creature from behind, the enemy will have its back turned to you, so you and Kai can get some damage in. I'm not sure how to describe the combat system, but I guess it's like a mix of real-time and turn-based. You don't move or select a target, but you perform one of 4 actions: a melee attack, a ranged energy attack, shield or pacify. Both the melee and ranged attacks deal damage, but depending on which enemy you face, one can do more damage than the other. Shielding has you take only 50% of the original damage, and the character that is shielding can also guard the other. You can also synchronize actions that result in a team attack that does more damage than usual, but it also has a longer animation to complete. Once the enemy is downed, one character has to use the pacify action to finish it off. Each enemy has a preferred approach, and it's up to you to find out what works best. So as you can see, both the gameplay and combat are actually really basic and can get repetitive over time. You enter a new zone, you clean out the rust, fight with either a melee or a ranged attack, and pacify the enemies and move on to the next area. If it gets dark, you eat and restore your health, and you do it all over again the next day. This sounds like a very bad thing, and it can be, but I will get more into this later. Let's talk about the beautiful concept of this game called love. Everything you can do in this game has love as its core. If you look at the gameplay, you can play as both characters at the same time or as one character each in co-op. Everything you do is done together. Every decision you make is done together. The same goes for the combat. You control both characters or one character each in co-op and have to work together to defeat the enemy. If a big enemy is charging up an attack, one person should block and the other should attack. And combining attacks makes you perform a stronger attack. With cooking and crafting, both characters decide what ingredient is added and what the result will be. And then of course you have the story. A tale about two lovers that care more about each other than anything else in the world and travel to a lost planet under the premise, does love truly conquer all? Everything you do and experience makes your relationship stronger, which is also the leveling system. Once you've gathered enough experience, you can have a drink together and deepen your bond, which will make your attack stronger and increase your HP. You cannot save the game manually and you will have to rely on autosaves. And while that in itself may not be a problem, at no point does the game properly tell you about this. I have only learned this for myself by testing and losing some progress in the meantime. But it also ruined my post-game exploration that I was planning to do. You see, once you head into the final part of the story, you enter a point of no return. This is where you'd normally make an additional save in the game, but seeing as you can only do it with autosave, it's not possible to do this. I hope that after the story the game would make a clear save file, but it doesn't apparently, so now I am eternally stuck in the epilogue and will have to start a whole new game to look for anything that I've missed. Now apparently what you could have done is to head back to the title screen and create a copy of the save file. The developer indicated that they are aware of this issue and are working on it, but I thought you should at least know of this as it can be a game-breaking experience. And finally we get to my opinion and conclusion. So where to start? As mentioned before, the story is a driving force of this game. It is beautifully written and the amount of detail they put into the characters and their interaction is really impressive. After finishing the story, it felt both like I just read a really good book and will remember Kai and you for a very long time. The gameplay itself is very basic however and gets repetitive fairly quickly. The exploration gets boring because there's little to no variety in the stages, and even though there is quite a bit of enemy variety, the simple combat just makes it all feel like the same thing. The game makers have made something really unique with Haven. They took the idea of true love in a healthy adult relationship and built a whole game around that core concept. The storytelling is the most important part, and I think that the simplicity of the other game aspects were made that way to not take away from the story. It's definitely not perfect, but a much more engaging experience than, let's say, a visual novel, a book or a TV show. This game definitely isn't for everyone, and at the end of the day, I think it really comes down to what you like. If you are someone that enjoys a challenge, in-depth combat systems and have a great control over your character's growth, then this game is not for you. If you are someone that's in the mood for a wholesome and heartfelt love story with great character design, easy to get into controls and game systems, this game will feel like a great and unique experience for you. So after hearing all this, I am curious to what you think about this game. Has it left you interested? Have you already played it? Or do you have any questions about it? Let me know in the comments down below and we'll talk about it. If you found this review helpful, make sure to give it a like so it will reach more people that want to see it. Also consider subscribing to the channel for more in-depth game content in the future. And with that said, I want to thank you all for watching, and until next time.